it is for you guys. Enjoy.
Welcome to The Thunder. I am Shooter. And we've got Mr. Thomas Scully. School is back in session. And no guests tonight. Just us two fools talking about hockey. But I'm going to do something a little bit dangerous tonight, Thomas Scully. Usually we regret this if anyone calls. We're going to open the phone lines.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh, why can't I hear you? Off to a good start already. I could hear you before.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Still can't. I'm just going to do the show without you. Like that one time you abandoned me to go to do a different show. Anyway, we'll start off while we fix our audio problems here by, I think I found the culprit here, Thomas Scully, so hold on for me. We'll start off here by thanking, actually, I don't even think anyone can hear me.
I can hear you. Can you hear me now? I can hear you.
Bear with me. I think they can hear you, Thomas Scully, and not me.
I hear you. I hear you. Oh, Serena can hear both of us. You just can't hear me.
Serena can hear both of us.
We don't need to talk to each other, just as long as they can hear us.
I think we're good now. Don't worry, we will cut this out of the podcast version. Anyway, that was really strange. That's a hell of a way to start the show. What we're gonna do tonight? Well, as I was saying, I don't know. Maybe Serena heard it. Maybe everyone heard it. Maybe nobody heard it. We got the phone lines open here. Let me make sure that the phone is connected, and no, that is not my personal phone number that is on the screen right now. But that is a number where you can reach out to us. So if you want to dial in at any time tonight, call in 813-666-7701. Thomas, you don't have to call in. You're already here.
Might be the only way you can hear me.
That was really weird. I think my cable disconnected, but we were just talking before we went on. But that's the wonders of modern technology. Anyway, what I wanted to start off with was a big thank you to Serena and everyone that came out to the first watch party of the season at Cigar City. I want to thank Cigar City too for hooking us up. Look at that. Thomas looks like an employee now. I have that same one. But they really hooked us up with a ton of stuff to give away, signed merchandise, some swag, or coolers, and I feel like almost everyone kind of left with something. So thank you, Cigar City, High Lie, the official craft brew of the Tampa Bay Lightning, and thank everyone that showed up. It was actually way more people than I thought. There was like 40, 50 people. You had to keep ushering in chairs and tables to get everyone in there, and definitely filled up that back room. So we're going to do it again February 10th. Hopefully we'll see Steven there next time. I get to see him once a week anyway, though, so I don't mind if he doesn't show up.
Yeah, it was definitely nice seeing everybody there, putting some names to some faces, and then just it was a shitty game. We'll talk about it. It was a shitty game, but actually it was a really good time. And I've been asking people that I know that was there what they felt about it, and the feedback from there is pretty good. They definitely had enough food for appetizers for us. Their food was, I had their smothered cheese fries. It was really good. Their alcohol was, from what I hear, good. Plenty of people were drinking plenty of beers, and of course, come out on the 10th, and your first one is free. So come out and join us on the 10th. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, if you missed last weekend, don't worry, we're gonna do it again. And then I think the last one of the regular season, hopefully, knock on wood, is I want to say March 24th. It's a Sunday night, so that one might be a little bit tougher. 8 o'clock start time because they're playing against the Ducks, who actually are coming here on Saturday. The Killers return. Don't miss that one. We'll talk about the upcoming games here in a second, though. But yeah, thanks for coming. Come out to the next one if you can. And Steven's right here. I know everyone loves when I talk about my hockey career here. Best goal scorer in Bull Sharks history. I don't know if that's true, but I might just be leading in points and goals this season. I didn't see the updated stats, but I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I might tweet those out when we see them.
So you're telling us it's a shitty team? So.
No, Bull Sharks are never a shitty team, but I did rack up. I think it was another 2 goals and an assist on Sunday. So, all right. Well,
look at this royalty joining us here in the comments.
Oh, Jay Retcher in the house. What's going on, Jay?
There's no rapid reaction right now, so he's that was his reaction there.
I missed last night's rapid reaction actually, which was probably a good one after the 3-goal comeback in the third period, and of all people, Nick Perbix putting it in OT to win it. John Cooper's 500th win. How about that? If you didn't see the video of him in the locker room or even afterwards, he kind of sent some of the same stuff to the reporters about the milestone. So what a game last night. It was 60 minutes of kind of agony that we've seen a lot throughout the season of like, what is happening? Like, we seem to be playing better than this other team. But we can't score, and they're scoring these goofy goals. And we even had the Sorelli goal get called back. Well, the Sorelli goal was funny because the Sorelli goal was at first not a goal because there was a whistle. Then they went back and called it a goal. And then it gets challenged and it's not a goal. And it was like, what the hell? But
it wasn't it was goalie interference. It was goalie interference.
I wouldn't have called it goalie interference. It might be biased though.
Yeah, I said it there at the arena. I was before they went and reviewed it, right before they came and said it was a good goal. I was telling my seatmate, the people in front of me, I was like, that's going to be called back for goalie interference. We plainly tripped him. So, and then they're like, good goal. And then they went, okay, now challenge it. And I was like, it's not going to count. That was definitely.
But I do think that was a turning point in the game. Like I've talked about before, when the Lightning have these like dramatic kind of like, whether it's a bad call or whether it's a goal getting reversed, sometimes it's a fight. Remember Hagel a couple weeks ago getting in the fight against Vegas? It completely changes the game. And it did last night. It just took a little bit longer because
there were some fights last night too. Some good fights last night.
True, but even that third period, we got all these chances, and I was out on Twitter on We the Thunder Pod, tweeting about it. Like, all right, well, we got one shot on that power play, and then we got another power play, and we got one shot, and this is the beginning of the third, and it's like, man, we got to score now. And thankfully, it wasn't those power plays, but the boys were able to figure it out with Tyler Mott scoring that huge goal, probably his biggest goal as a Bolt. And then, like Cooper said, it turned into the Brandon Hagel show, which we needed. We missed that Brandon Hagel show for like a little over a month when he wasn't scoring. And huge play for him to tie the game. One of the prettiest goals of the season, in my opinion. And, Perbix netted the overtime goal, but anyone that watched that play knew that was all Hagel setting that up and making the play to get that puck over to Perbix to win the game. So can't say enough about Brandon Hagel, and kudos to Bolts Nation on X today, really putting out the vibes to get him into the All-Star game. I don't know if he'll make the cut, but if there's one other player on the Bolts besides the obvious Cooch who's in, who else would you give it to?
Yeah, I've seen so many people trying to get Hetty. I really don't feel like he's deserved it. Stammer, there's a case for him and a case against him. It depends which part of this half season you're looking at. And then I've seen Point, but I really don't think Point's really deserved it either. Hagel, I thought, was in beast mode last night. I really think he's been stepping up his game. Someone last night that I liked seeing step up their game wasn't really on the score sheet because it got taken away, but Sorelli. I thought Sorelli really played good game last night, and was finally you read all the things just like I read all the things, all the different groups, all the Twitters and everything else. There's been a lot of talk about this player, that player, this player, that player. I mean, people are now going after JBB like crazy. And we saw Serena mentioned it here. And actually the one that was wearing the shirt right here, Jason had on that Fire Blashnall shirt that got on the Jumbotron last night for the Kiss Cam. Thanks to his wife Leah for making it.
Oh, I was going to ask, where did you get that shirt, Jason? You could sell those like hotcakes right now.
Yeah, his wife made that, and during the Kiss Cam, all I see was Fire Blashnall, and I went, oh shit. And then they went away from it, but it was cool that they at least showed it up on the screen during the Kiss Cam. But this team's been taking a lot of negativity. I think some deservedly, some not deservedly, and people's trying to place blame here, there, and it was great to see some of those big contracts that we talk about with Sorelli and Hagel stepping up last night's game.
By the way, we are on Instagram. It is through just kind of my personal Instagram at Shooty Shoots, which is basically an Instagram for this account. And also about my adventures with my neighbors lately. But if you're watching on Instagram, for some reason, it looks like Peter Blake commented, we don't see the comments on our side. So I'm trying to keep an eye on there. If you're on Instagram, if you want to comment, you might want to jump over to YouTube or Facebook. Yeah, I mean, a huge game last night. The Kings are a good team. They're a good team defensively. They're a very good team on the road. And I wasn't at the game, but I did. Sometimes I do this. I'll tune in to kind of the away team's broadcast. I just want to kind of hear what they're saying about the Lightning. And a lot of times you learn a lot more about the other team when you do that. They don't really talk about the Lightning as much as they're talking about their own team, obviously. And it's weird. The Kings have had this problem lately where they've been blowing leads towards the end of the game. So I guess it happened the other night against the Capitals, and it's happened a couple times now. So it's becoming a theme for them. And as I'm watching this game, I've got my fingers crossed, like, hey, let it happen again. And sure enough, it did happen again. So a huge game for the Bolts to come back and win that game in overtime. And you only got to hope. And I keep saying this, I feel like in the last 2 months, like this is the game that's going to turn everything around. This is the game that's going to switch on that momentum. So the Bolts are the team that are going on an 8-game winning streak, a 9-game winning streak, maybe a 10-game winning streak, which, by the way, this is the episode. We do this probably about 4 times a season, where we're going to look at around the league and talk a little bit more about some of the other teams and what's going on in the league. So we'll talk about some of these teams that are on those hot streaks. So we know those happen in the NHL, and we need the Lightning to get on one of those, and we need it to happen here in the next month or two before it's too late.
Last night, JP Peterson does this thing before the game, before they come out and compare the goalies and the matchups between the two teams. And I had forgotten that Talbot was with the Kings now until they came out for warmups, and then they came and did Talbot's record against the Bolts. He was 4-1 against the Bolts, and then Vasi versus the King was 8-3. Now 9-3, and Talbot's now 4-2. So Talbot had our number when he was in Edmonton, so it was great to see that also. And of course, one of Vasi's best saves was against the Kings, against Kopitar, several seasons ago.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm right. is in a couple comments. It's not just you, but talking about Vasi not being quite himself. And I'm not disagreeing with that. He's definitely not putting up the Vasi numbers that we're used to. But again, you got to go back and look at the goals that he gave up last night. One directly in the slot right in front of him, and then the other one kind of in the high slot. And, you know, from playing a lot of hockey, I know that that is 100% how I try to score around the net. And when you are in front of the net, when you have that angle, not the Steven Stamkos side angle, he's one of the only guys that can do that. When you have yourself in front of the net, the goalie, you can see the spots. The goalie cannot cover the entire net. Even a big goalie with big pads like the Big Cat can't cover the whole net. So when you're giving up opportunities there, that's when you're going to give up goals. So they've got to protect the center of the ice better than they did in that second period last night, at least.
That second goal, I saw you when you tweeted that it was high glove side, and then I immediately tweeted back a blocker. I immediately tweeted back, he went down way too early. I don't know what he saw to make him, and I was watching him and Talbot most of the night.
He might not have been able to see it. He might have, because he kind of ducked down.
He definitely dropped to his knees, and as soon as he did that, that's when he fired that shot. He saw that opening that Vasi had went down and was like, oh, all right.
None of the goals were his fault last night, but the Boston game is proof of that. We're not going to talk about the Boston game. We talked about the watch party. That's the only part of the Boston game we're going to talk about, except for the point goal, which was like, 20 seconds in. That was the highlight of the night at the watch party. I did put the question up here, and the reason why I put this question up is because ESPN had an article that they released today giving grades throughout the halfway point of the season, and we are at the halfway point of the season. I guess we're one game over now. So I'm curious in the chat, you know, what do you give the Bolts so far this season? I'll give you guys kind of a little bit of time here to answer that, and I'll ask you too, Thomas Gooley. But I want to go through what ESPN says about the Bolts and what they graded the Bolts as well. But I'm curious in the chat, like, you know, we're halfway through the season. What are Bolts fans saying the grade for the Bolts are so far? And we'll start with Thomas Schooley.
I'm in agreement with Steven here. A C+. I see Jason gave them a C so far. You know, at the beginning of the season, and you have Mandingo here who, thank you, Steve, gave us his three tickets to give away at the watch party the other night. And CJ Joe won those. But I think going into the season, there was so much unsureties, especially with Vasi being injured. We didn't know when he would come back, how he would look when he came back. And then the injuries that we've had so far this year. It's just been really a telling season. We're getting ready to go on that bye week for the Lightning here next week. And I'm hoping that gets some of the players back and some healthiness. And then we'll head right into the All-Star break. So I'm hoping the second part of the season is going to be more promising. They get, as we talked about, one of those streaks. They're not far out of the playoffs. That's the good part, is that they haven't put themselves in that big of a hole.
And we'll bring up the standings. Like I said, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the other teams tonight. So we'll take a look at that. We'll see exactly where they're at. I think by the end of the game last night, they were in the second wild card spot, but the Lightning have played more games than anyone else in the NHL right now, which is not a good thing for them because other teams can just gain ground as we're taking those nights off as everyone catches up. So I'll have to go C as well. I think it could be worse and it could be a lot better. And I'm hoping that we're not singing the same song towards the end of the season that I was thinking towards the beginning of that third period of, we're playing so well, but we're still losing these games. That's talked about it before on this show. It's kind of becoming the story of the season here. And we're getting to the point of where we want to stop talking about that or like that. So Let's see. We got a couple of Jason's given. Oh, Jason's breaking it down for us. Offense A, defense D. So yeah, let's take a look at what ESPN said. And I'm not going to share the screen for this, but I will say that they gave a class president, and that was to Nikita Kucherov. I don't think anyone's surprised by that. I will say I am surprised that Cooch is playing so darn well. Like, I didn't know he could actually play better. And I will say, I just pulled his clip before next week's show. I did say at the beginning of the season with season predictions with Sonia Bryson that I just want to see Cooch shoot the puck more. And he definitely has held up to his part of the bargain there with shooting the puck more. But yeah, a killer season by him. And that'll be the sad thing if the Bolts don't make the playoffs. If Cooch's wonderful season here is wasted, because he's going to be neck and neck, I think, with some of the top players in the NHL. McKinnon's the guy that's kind of right on him right now, who's been scoring a lot of points. So they give Cooch a little bit of love, and then they have a title called In Danger of Failing. And on this one, they put Tanner Jeannot. And I don't know if they wrote this article before or after he was injured. I'm assuming they wrote it before he got injured, but they do kind of point out he signed that $5.3 million 2-year contract for the summer, and he has just 12 points in 41 games. Oh, it does say, and now Jeannot is hurt. From what I read, it's a significant injury. Did you hear anything else about Jeannot's injury? So he's not going to be back anytime soon.
No, yeah, I heard it could possibly be right towards the end of the season.
Yeah, so that's not good. I think if you're really down on Tanner Jeannot, I think the good thing to consider is it was only a 2-year contract that they signed him to. So it's not like they're locked in to 7-8 years like some of these guys that we have. I think they needed to get that bridge deal to Jeannot, and who knows, they could end up dealing him over the summer if they aren't happy with his production. I think a lot of us Lightning fans want to see more Jeannot on the scoring sheet, but we're pretty happy with what he's done as far as fighting. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest.
I was going to say, I could tell by the way you started laughing, you must be looking at what I'm looking at.
You thought the show with Johnny B got derailed. Wait till you get a load of this one. In the green room here, we've got Puck What You Heard.
That's right.
Well, look at this guy with his old school Tampa Bay. Whose jersey is that?
Hobby Bullen, of course.
Nikolai Habibulin. I'm glad you came on. I'm glad you brought that up, because I meant to bring this up last week.
Yeah.
Habibulin has signed a contract, and he is playing professional hockey again. He's playing it's over in Russia, right? He's playing over in Russia.
Yeah.
That's amazing. He's over 50 years old, I think. And
he's also the owner of that team.
I read he was the
that adds a little flavor to it right there, because he does own it. He already has ownership of the team.
So, Puck, what you heard? What would you rate the Bolts season so far?
They've kind of exceeded my expectations. To be honest, I put them at a C. I thought it was going to be a lot worse with the injuries early on, but they've kind of hung in there. It's been kind of hit and miss, but it could be a whole lot worse than what it is right now, to be honest.
And also, why are there tacos behind you?
I've been staring at the tacos going, man.
The most random thing I could think of. And I love tacos. So, it's not a football theme. I figure, this is as close to hockey as I could get is tacos.
I heard there's a rumor going around that you might be attending a Lightning game this month.
Oh, absolutely. I will be there. Right for Gasparilla, hopefully.
Well, you better wear that jersey if you
you know what? The Lightning have won every single time I've come to Tampa and worn this jersey. Actually, everywhere I've worn the jersey, the Lightning have won.
You might need to go to more games then.
Yeah,
this is a possibility.
All right. Before I was distracted by you, I was reading this ESPN Plus article, and they graded the Bolts first half of the season, and the ESPN writer gives the Bolts a B-. So higher than pretty much everyone here. What they're saying is there's a small reprieve here for the Lightning because they did have to start the season without goaltender Andrei Vasilevsky, and the pile of injuries on their back end has been understandably difficult to overcome. That's just recent. However, the Lightning have looked average and often scattered for such a veteran-heavy group. That's the truth. Perhaps that's the problem. Tampa Bay needs its aging core to perform, and that gets more difficult to see happen year over year, especially when the Lightning don't have cap space to bring in as many complementary players as you'd like. Other Atlantic Division squads have surged past Tampa Bay. Will that carry on and leave the Lightning on the outside looking in by this spring? So ESPN's not quite so down on us yet, but they're attributing a lot of that to Vasi being out in that first quarter of the season. As you guys know, we weren't that bad that first quarter of the season when he was out. They were playing, 500, even I think they were even above 500 hockey with Vasi out. And as we talked about earlier, Vasi hasn't been that great. So, first half of the season, it's over. Now it's time to move on up in the standings and secure a playoff spot. And like I was saying earlier, they really got to get on a roll here. And it's a good time to do that.
Just in your opinion, do you think it's like a lingering injury? Is he at 100%? That's kind of what you have to look at as well.
I don't know.
I think it might be a little bit of it's not completely healed, and also he's scared he might re-injure it because sometimes it looks like he's playing too safe, and then other times he's looking like he's the Vasi of old. So is
this possible that he could progressively get better as the back end of the season goes and kind of get back into the true Vasi form that we know him at?
Oh, for sure. There's usually always that playoff Vasi form and that second half Vasi. So there can be that. We still haven't really gotten on a consistent schedule with our scheduling. It's like a couple games here, then we're off 3 or 4 days, then we have a couple, and that's going to happen these next couple weeks too. Come the other side of the All-Star break is when we're going to start playing more consistent. We'll probably see some more of Johansson going in on that backside of the All-Star break. And I think Vasi will get, back into the groove and he'll have about 30 games under his belt.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't know though. If the team knows that he's not 100%, I feel like they would give him a couple more days off than they have. Because
I don't think he allows it. I don't think he will allow it. I think we constantly hear, we've heard from almost every Lightning insider that for some reason Vasi dictates when he plays and when he doesn't play. And, and Johansson, although he kept us at 500, wasn't really your best when you have half your D core out also.
True. I have to share this. And I'm sure most Bolts fans have seen this because it dropped yesterday. And I'm about to go to the game tomorrow and probably buy most of the stuff that you're going to see.
Gasparilla crap.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it's that time of season.
That's spicy.
There you go. Gasparilla. So far, we've been doing this for 3 seasons. First year, they had the black with kind of a little bit of the gold.
I love that. I've actually got that shirt.
Then they went white, and now this is kind of the new version where it's just black and white. This is my favorite so far. This is my favorite so far.
Like Serena, me and Serena were talking about it yesterday. They should have done like a blue outline, the dark blue, the lightning blue or something. It just rinse, repeat on everything every single year.
Well, don't worry, they're super cheap if you look at the prices here.
No, not really. I did get the puck. Hold on.
Oh, you got something. See,
That's
you
right.
do love it. I'll tell you what, though. I will be at the team store. From what I understand, the team store is stocked, and this stuff is on the shelves. Obviously, you got one already.
Puck what you heard, baby.
I like that it was the white on the one side and black on the other side. It's the only reason I got the puck. That was the only thing I bought. Serena bought some of the stickers, which are literally like, oh, there they are right there. What size are they? 3 by 2.5. I mean, if you blink, you'll pass the stickers.
I think I did. But
Right,
I think
you just went past it again. See,
I'm so
right there.
sorry.
The second one.
3.5 inches, the vinyl sticker, $3.99. That's the most affordable thing on the list right there. I like them. I'm going to definitely be getting there early to stop at the team store. I'm sorry, Thomas Schooley. I'm going to be wearing some of this.
So
merch
what
next week.
what game will be on that Saturday, Gasparilla Saturday? Do you know?
The game I'm going to bring you to, buddy, is the Gasparilla game. It doesn't matter who's playing. It's the Gasparilla game. It's the sloppiest, piratey game of the year.
Yep. It's got to be.
I
I wonder will they let me in. I guess I'll have to leave my pistols and sword in your car.
It's against the Devils.
The Devils. It's a great game.
Devils.
And that's actually who they play tomorrow night.
Plot.
At Amalie Arena. Tomorrow night, by the way, they will have a little bit of relief because the Devils won't or shouldn't have their best player, Jack Hughes. They'll have his little bro, who's pretty good too. Palat should be in the building. The Devils are a good team. They're underachieving, I think, but I think the Lightning got a break there with them missing their best player. And since we're talking about it, let's just take a look at the schedule. We've got the Devils tomorrow. It's going to be a tough game. We've got the Ducks on Saturday. That's going to be a potential game that they can easily win. That will be Alex Killorn's first time back in the building. You will see the tears flooded from the video that he's going to get. Should be a good one.
Except for a lot of people's going to be on the cruise.
That's true. You do have the cruise, by the way. And breaking news, I don't have a guest secured for next week, but I did invite some friends that are going on the cruise. So we might have a review of how the cruise went, the first ever Lightning Bolts on board cruise. So Saturdays, the Ducks are in town, and then you've got Thursday, and we'll probably be live next Wednesday to talk a little bit more about this game. But the Wild come to town. Our old friend Pat Maroon and Bogo back in town, and you know one of them is going to score. And you know Andre Platt's going to score tomorrow because that's been the theme of the season. All the old Bolts are scoring. Killers definitely scoring Saturday. Do they have odds on which players score on that Hard Rock app? Which, by the way, anyone that watched last week, you're welcome. When I told you to put all your money on the Lightning to win in Minnesota, they did break the curse and win up there. And like I said, I did not see Bassey losing that game after the mistake that he made in the game previous. Plus, Minnesota was so banged up. They just didn't have some good players. So I got some good odds on that Hard Rock app. So Hard Rock, we're still waiting for that sponsorship.
Yeah. Yeah. And next Tuesday, Shooter and I will be at the Cigar City at the arena and for the live taping of Block Party.
Nice.
So if you're there at the Block Party, make sure you come and say hi. I know Serena, Kathy Rhodes is watching tonight or not, but she'll be inside the arena for Lightning Lady U, is also going on that night. So we're going to there's Lightning Lady U. There's still, as of last night, tickets available, so go on the Lightning's website for that. Or Block Party is also Tuesday night.
Any guesses to who we think the guest is going to be?
No, Greg said, I was looking at Greg's tweets today, and he said no hints at all. Johnny G.
Driving him or anything?
They keep that so secret. Johnny B only says that it's always a current player. So I would imagine you take away the injured ones and the ones that have already done it. And who do we have left?
We're running out of players.
Right. We might get Lulleberg, who played last night.
That's true. We have not mentioned we've had several Bolts make their debut in the last week.
Yeah. And what did Coop say about the one in Minnesota that he ends up winning? Carlisle ends up winning his first game in the building, and where it took Coop how long to get his first win in that building.
Yeah, which by the way, when Coop was going down the hallway in Minnesota and he kind of hugged the security guard, I got to imagine that was because he's been there so many times and he's never won a game. And I bet that same security guard has been there for every single game. So I bet he said something to that security guard about finally getting that win in Minnesota. So we'll see. I guess we won't really know till next year if the curse is broken. Up in Minnesota, because they have won a couple times up there, but it's been a while since they won up there. I mean, think about it. Coop's won 500 games. I guess what would it be? 498, and none of them were in Minnesota before that. So that's a.
I may have to rock the jersey and go there.
Yeah, there you go.
I think that can just kind of break the ice a little bit.
All right, I do have a good question. I do want to jump into around the league, but I do have a good question for you guys that I've been kind of thinking about and tweeted about last week. Who is the biggest celebrity Lightning fan? We saw pictures of
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise at the arena a couple weeks ago. We've seen John Travolta there many times. Somebody pointed out on Twitter, yes, I know Scientology. I'm sure that's why they're here, getting their Scientology on. But at least they take a break at night to go see the Lightning.
Exactly.
They had a dude yesterday here. I do have the picture pulled up, and thanks to Kalora, that's how you pronounce your name. I don't think you watch the show or listen to it, but you should, because you're gonna be on it. But I don't know who this guy is. He's from a show named Manifested, just sitting down there in the 100s with looks like his father or something.
Got me. Tom Cruise is the only one that pops into my head, though.
But who else? Like, I should pull up the tweet. We got a bunch of responses of other people that are celebrities that have been to Lightning games. One was the guy from he was in Dazed and Confused, and I guess he's in Yellowstone now. You guys know who I'm talking about?
Cole Hauser.
Cole Hauser is apparently a Lightning fan.
Oh, really?
Dick Vitale. I'm
Dick
looking
Vitale.
at what
Dick
people
Vitale's
are
to
right
me.
over
Dick
there.
Vitale's a Tampa guy.
To me, Dick Vitale's like a local celebrity. That's like
why I'm like, are
Hulk
we?
Hogan, right?
Can we really include him? I guess you
Well,
can.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, can you include Derek Brooks?
No, he works for the Lightning.
Yeah, but still.
Who's the other wrestler that's always there? Tyson O'Neill.
Titus O'Neil, yeah.
Titus.
Yeah,
That's
he doesn't.
Titus.
I feel like he is getting paid by the Lightning too somehow, because he's in all the videos.
But
and stuff.
he's real big in the community too, though.
Right.
I mean,
he
does-
is the ambassador of Tampa Bay. I mean, literally, this man does everything. There is no in him. So, I mean, I got a group of Thunderbolts together one year, and we went and did a toy drive at Raymond James Stadium that was sponsored by him. And they were giving out all these free toys to all these kids. And we handed out free snacks to them and free meals as the group of Thunderbolts went out there.
There was
Young Gravy. You got Vaughn. Or
I pulled up the tweet. Somebody mentioned Charles Barkley, but from what we've heard that story, like he kind of became friends with Coach Cooper.
Right. He's good friends.
So that's why he's kind of become a Bolts fan. He's really a Cooper guy. And who was it last year? Josh Duhamel, who showed up at a game. I think that was just to promote his crappy movie with J-Lo.
But I thought he was friends with Maroon or someone like that.
Maybe. I swear I saw him in a Wild game last season too. I think that was a promotional deal. But I mean,
does
that's
Tom
pretty
Brady
good.
count? No, he probably isn't. He was probably
Tom
just one
Brady
of
had
those
too many
here.
games. I haven't seen him in any since he retired.
Yeah, this is true.
I've seen
Travolta's been there many times. Actually, they show him every time he's there. He's usually hits at least one game a season.
You know who I would say probably rest in peace? Jerry Springer.
Jerry's been at games.
Several games. I've seen Pat Sajak there, but he's more of a Philly fan. But I've seen Sajak there.
Michaels?
Brett Michaels. I've seen Bon Jovi there, but that was also for Philly games, for the Flyer games. I'm trying to think because it's usually up in the suite area and stuff like that.
But if you're going by pure celebrity powerhouse, it's the Scientology guys.
Yeah, it's the Scientology.
It's Travolta and it's
Yeah.
and it's Tom Cruise, right?
Ric Flair,
Flair,
but
I've seen Ric Flair has been in North Carolina, been at the Carolina games too, though, hasn't he?
Yeah,
but he
in
lives
New
in Tampa
Jersey.
now. He must have a house in Tampa or
Got it.
something, because he's been around. So it's pretty cool that we're not a big market, but we do have a fair amount of famous people that show up at these games. I think my favorite though, like of course you get a bunch in New York and LA, but I feel like every time I watch a Kings game, speaking of the Kings being in town, Will Ferrell must have season tickets to the Kings.
Yeah, he's got to.
Because I see him at every Kings game that I randomly tune into it for those late games. I'm trying to fall asleep. I'll tune into the Kings.
You look how many have tickets to the Rangers game. You have tonight Jimmy Fallon as a season ticket member for them.
Don't tell Aaron Rodgers that.
You could have the Royal Rumble there if you wanted to.
Well, we'll see. We'll see who shows up this week.
My favorite's always seeing the local sports teams.
Baker Mayfield and
right. I like seeing that. Just like in case you guys don't know Puck, what you heard is he does a Buck show on this very same network. You can check him out. And the Lightning last night did a huge shout out to the Bucks for their upcoming playoff game on Monday night versus Philly here at Raymond James. Plenty of tickets available. Go see them. But so the Lightning did a huge shout out to the Bucks last night. And I've always liked that. You always see the three teams supporting each other, the Rays, the Lightning, and the Bucks. And even the Rowdies will get involved there, and USF and everything else. But I like that the fellow teams support each other.
Yeah. And it's really come a long way since, going back to the early 2000s to where we are now. And I love the camaraderie. And you could just at any time you could see an NFL player or a hockey player at a baseball game or vice versa. You always see something out of the ordinary, and so it's really cool that you do get to see that, and it's good for the community as well.
Well, guys, I do have to transition into the part of the show where I worship the best player in hockey. And that is still the top scorer in the NHL at this current moment.
Nikita Kucherov.
My guy. You know what I want to do? I want to recreate that meme with Wolverine.
Sleeping
he's playing and he's holding the thing. I want to do that with my Cooch picture here. So way to go, Cooch. Keep it up. He didn't score a goal last night. I was surprised.
So I have to ask, what piece of memorabilia, because I do have a plan to get some piece of Lightning memorabilia to bring home and hang up and kind of show off. So what are your thoughts? What kind of...
We can get you some of Thomas's cigarette butts that he tries to smoke at intermission in the Budweiser beer garden. That's all.
People would think that me and him are the same person because we're never in the room at the same time. It's either I'm at the game or he's at the game.
Pretty much.
And I don't want people I just wanted to kind of dispel that myth too, because we're both on the screen at the same time. This isn't AI.
Right.
Here
we're
and
twins. I can see where people see the resemblance.
It's like me and you show up to a game and he's not there, or while he's at the game, I'm not there. So I think we've totally dispelled that myth right now.
That's a really good question, though. I would have
like Bruce Wayne and Batman. This is similar.
Well, no, you asked a really good question about what's the best piece of merch that you can get.
I always, every time I've taken probably about, over the years, I would say probably about 300 people to their first game ever there. And what I always got for them was the matchup puck. That's what I would say is a great memorabilia to have, is the matchup puck of the game you went to. Now they've changed it. They used to have the actual date on it, but now you can still get the one. So like your thing's following you there.
Cameraman.
So I have the puck from last year.
Was that a matchup one? The two teams?
No, it was just a Gasparilla puck.
Yeah, no, they always do a matchup. So you would have like New Jersey on the top, and then versus Tampa on the bottom. And that's actually how I started my puck collection. Was anytime I went and saw a different team, I would buy that puck so that I knew what games I went and saw. And that was before I became an STM.
Nice. From the year before, I got the Gasparilla. I got the Gasparilla shirt. And what did I get? I got something else. So I'm just slowly collecting all these things. Oh, and I still have some of the beads that you grabbed a whole bunch of and that they were giving out after the game. I've still got a ton of those too.
You won't be able to get this, but I have to give a shout out to my family. I haven't brought this out in the last, I guess, 15 whatever days it was since Christmas. I'm the easiest person to shop for holidays or gifts, by the way.
You and me both.
Got a Tampa Bay Lightning logo on it. I'm in. And I'm not even like a big memorabilia guy or anything like that. But this one I'll keep. This is a Stanley Cup.
Stammer.
Yes, that's a 91.
Can I have that?
2021 Stanley Cup champions. I'm going to keep this one. I'm a big Stamkos fan too.
Listen, we just saw where he got it from. Obviously, it was the camera followed him where he got it from. It was sitting on the floor.
No, Stamkos sent that to me.
Shut your mouth.
They're fanatics, though. He used fanatics to get it to you. I understand.
Thank you to my family who bought me that puck. No, that's a good question. I like any of the unique stuff that they come out with. Like
that's the thing that kind of it's a great day that you get to go to a game, and not every city in the United States has a hockey team. So we're very fortunate to be able to go to these games, and you've got a great ownership that really does a lot for the community. So it's always great to be a Lightning fan.
The mystery pucks are good too. Tomorrow is actually 90s night, which I thought we did enough of those last season. Apparently not.
For the retro.
So they do have a special little 90s puck for tomorrow night.
Very nice. I'll take two.
Yeah.
Call me in the morning.
35 or $40 a piece. You go ahead and take those two. You can get them online.
By the way, if you did not come to the watch party, like I said, some signed sticks, some good stuff. One of those sticks was signed by the best player in the NHL. And there were a couple Sergachevs. There were some good ones that were out there.
Chernak, we had probably about 6 or 7 Chernaks. We had 3 Sergachevs. We had about 6 Connor Sherrys, 1 Johansson, and then
some Bogos. I don't know how those got in there.
2 Bogos, and then 1 Nikita Kucherov.
Yeah, and I believe it was Andrew Sticks of Fire that won that one, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And shout out to
Sticks of Fire
crew. We did have Sticks of Fire had at least a whole table of folks that came out to hang out at the watch party. So thanks Sticks of Fire crew for coming to hang out. All right, should we talk about the rest of the league?
Steve had said you can also bid on sign stuff in the auction on game days.
Yeah,
how does that work?
They send a link out every game day. It used to be a lot easier to bid on that kind of stuff. Now it's a little bit more expensive. I have my Kucherov game use stick, my Stamkos game use stick, my Point stick, my Schuster stick. They were all from the auctions. JT Brown, I have 2 of his sticks. They just used to be affordable. They're
Nice.
not much. They're not as affordable now.
Not so much.
No,
I think I'm going to shoot for a Gasparilla hat. I don't have a hat, a Lightning hat.
You could never go wrong. But little tip, if you do go to the game and buy a hat, wait till after the game.
so here's the stuff that was on yesterday's team sign stick. They went for $500. Fan cave sign, $680. Chernak worn jersey went for $501.
Oh, that son of a bitch that put the extra dollar on there.
Yeah, they price it right.
I'm
Somebody.
like, I'm putting down 500, and then some motherfucker went 501. Price the right style.
Sergachev gave me a stick, $315. Stamkos Magna went for $111.
Wow.
So
For a
yeah.
magnet, right? Very nice.
Yeah. A Vasi
right.
signed hat went for $130.
That's crazy.
And it's not even a nice hat. A Hagel puck just went for $160. All this is just his
So that next game, if the price went up for that.
Hey, Debbie, how you doing?
All right, listen, you're gonna have to go if you're gonna be commanding all this attention here. Should we? Let's look around the league, shall we? Little
It was happening in the league.
stroll around the NHL. We really only do this like 3-4 times a year. And what better time to do it than right now? We're about halfway through the season. So let me pull up. I'm going to pull up the standings here so we can all take a gander. And we'll start in our own division. And as we found out on Saturday night, whether you like it or not, Boston Bruins are on the top of our division, and they're good. So, yeah, the Bruins only lost 8 games this season. And that's in regulation. They did lose 8 in overtime too, as well. So, but I think, the one that stands out right here in the Eastern, or a couple things stand out here to me. The Panthers are on a hot streak right now. They've won 8 in a row. That's the kind of streak that this team needs to go on. And then the other thing that kind of stood out to me here was that point differential. Usually you see the teams that are higher on the plus side at the top, and teams are on the lower side at the bottom, and that's what you see here. You got kind of the flip-flop in the middle with our Lightning with the -8. So we've let in 8 more goals than we've scored this season, and that is not good. So time will tell, but usually that means that the Red Wings are going to flip with us in that spot, and they might do that because, as I mentioned earlier, if you take a look at games played here, and you'll see as we go through this, nobody has played more games than the Tampa Bay Lightning. And unfortunately, that is a disadvantage for us because that means the Red Wings have an easy chance to get 4 more points, and they'll easily leapfrog us if they do get those 4 points. So any surprises you see here, Thomas Schooley in the Atlantic? I think this is kind of what we expected.
No, I expected Detroit to be higher.
So they're going to probably be higher than us next week.
I thought Detroit would be higher than the Panthers. I want to say at the beginning of the season, I predicted the Flyers Detroit to finish up near the top. So it's kind of puzzling that they're there.
Yeah, but I still don't think Detroit's that great of a team. All right, Metropolitan, New York Rangers are the best team in hockey, I believe, right now. So they're looking good. And if you look at this division, you've got Carolina, you've got the Hurricanes.
Shooter,
Steve wants to do a giveaway.
Yeah,
we can. If we've got some tickets. Let me get the giveaway machine going here.
Wait, you have an official We the Thunder giveaway machine?
Yeah.
Really? You don't say.
What we're gonna do is, if you want some awesome tickets for tomorrow night, thanks to Steve Mendingo.
Steve, my hero.
What we'll do is all you've got to do is hashtag goal bolts in your comment. So, I just entered the drawing by I didn't think I had it on yet. But if we win, don't worry, we'll roll it again. So let me put that here on the banner so everyone knows as they're kind of in and out. Add hashtag go bolts to your comment to win tickets for tomorrow night's game. And by the way, they are awesome tickets.
Yes.
Section 112. So if you're out there, make sure you put there. Diane has got the right idea. Diana, you're the only one in right now. You should tell everyone else to stop viewing.
Exactly.
We're gonna have to extend the show 15 more minutes now, so everyone gets a chance here to get in. Thank you, Steve. Always kind and generous with those tickets that you have, so we appreciate that. And by the way, I think you might have mentioned it, Thomas, but the tickets that we gave away on Saturday were also Steve's. Unfortunately, Steve is out of town, so he's missing a lot of games this season. All right, well,
Serena jumped in as well.
Serena's in. You know I'm right is in. So let's get a couple more people in there to win those tickets tomorrow. And hey, if you win those tickets, I believe I'm going to be there as well. So make sure that you let me know or come meet with me. And as I tell Thomas to,
that's triple the value of those tickets. Then,
and I'm there too. But
quadruple.
I believe I'm on the glass tomorrow night.
Whoa. Well, I'm sitting where the real fans sit because my guy Andrew from Stick is Fire offered me some seats up in 307 tomorrow. So I will be where the real fans are, and you guys can go in your bougie 112 tickets on the glass, and I'll be with the real fans chugging beers, throwing stuff. No, just kidding. We don't throw stuff. All right, back to the New York Rangers.
Listen, someone offered me a glass seat for $10 for tomorrow. So I was like, all right.
I see you didn't call me.
It was one seat.
That's a pretty good deal.
Yeah. I was like, okay, I guess.
By the way, here is our opponent for tomorrow night. New Jersey Devil, 44 points. Where are we at right now? 45 points. So they've kind of have an underwhelming season. For them, that's a good season, believe it or not. They're probably thrilled with where they're at in the standings right now, but they are definitely underachieving with the squad that they have. Not a lot of streaks here. You'll notice that in the Metropolitan, you don't have anyone that's going on a big streak, and that's pretty normal this season. It's been a lot of kind of 500 hockey and try to win 2 or 3 and then drop 1. The real surprise here, because I was talking about that goal differential, is the Pittsburgh Penguins are a plus 15. But they've only got 44 points on the season. So I don't know what's going on there in Pittsburgh. Apparently some not so good goal scoring. Or not so, or they're not so good defense, or I don't know what's going on because they're a plus 15. All right, Winnipeg Jets. We saw them a couple weeks ago. They are on one of these win streaks. Like we need to go on winning 7 in a row, 9-0-1 in their last 10. Colorado Avalanche, no surprise there. We'll be back in the race. Dallas Stars, not really a surprise. Predators getting back into playoff mode there, and then Gene. Your Arizona Coyotes are a border team right now with 42 points. They've actually had a really good season. Look who they're ahead of. They're ahead of the Blues, Wild, and Blackhawks are kind of no surprise. By the way, Bedard is out with a broken jaw 6 to 8 weeks.
Just had surgery today.
And then finally, the Pacific Vancouver Canucks, kind of a surprise for me. They are 57 at the top. The Golden Knights, not a big surprise, winning the Stanley Cup last year, up at 51. The Kings, who we beat last night, 47. And then Edmonton and Seattle, they have gone streaking. Edmonton with winning 8 in a row, and they've been a hot team for a couple months now after a horrible start. And then the Seattle Kraken, after not having a great season so far, they've won 7 straight. And the San Jose Sharks are, in my personal opinion, the worst team in hockey. If anyone went to the game when the Sharks were in town earlier in the season, that was probably the Lightning's best game of the season. And really because the San Jose Sharks are awful.
Garbage.
All right, reminder, because we're only on for another 10 minutes here. Hashtag Go Bolts in the comments to get on the giveaway section 112 tomorrow night. The Devils are in town. Let's just take a look real quick at where we stand here in the wild card. You've got your teams that are in right now: the Bruins, the Panthers, the Leafs, the Rangers, the Hurricanes, the Flyers. Are we surprised about the Flyers? I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of a surprise, right?
Then you had the little drama going on this last couple of days where their first round number 5 pick got traded to Anaheim.
They got Drysdale back for him. They got a decent return for it.
They did. They got a very good return for him. And, I don't know if you've seen any of the press conferences. It's been like they have been thanking the rest of the league for not leaking out that he did not want to play for them. And then there's several different reports. The latest one I saw today was that he didn't want to sign with a rookie GM and a coach like Torts.
Oh, wow.
But I have a feeling his first game in Philly, whenever he does play that game, is not going to be a good one.
Do you think he'll get booed?
Oh,
every time he touches.
What is the over and under on him getting booed?
Yeah, what's the over and under on them throwing something at him? It is Philly. Let's not forget.
They're young there.
We got some more in. Marissa's in. Caitlin's in. By the way, Steve's seats 112 row H. You basically are on the goal line where the Lightning are shooting twice. So you're going to be the first one to see that puck go in. And then you got an awesome view of Vasilevsky making those saves in the second period. So I love sitting in Steve's seats. So somebody's going to get to do that tomorrow. Hashtag Go Bolts. We'll give those away in the next 10 minutes. Let's take a look at the wild card. Guess who's in the playoffs right now? Tampa Bay Lightning. But again, as I mentioned earlier, a little bit of I don't even know what you would call it. It's not 100% looking good for us because that 42 games played versus New Jersey Devils, Washington Capitals, Pittsburgh Penguins.
We're getting ready to have that bye week, and that's going to actually
it should level the field, shouldn't it?
The people will start catching up with us. I started looking.
We will go down. We will be out of the wild card. Because look, Devils have played 4 less games than us. So
but like they're playing us 2 of those games. So if we can not give them any points in any of those games, that's going to benefit us for them. But when I was looking at the other games that are happening, a lot of them are playing each other these next couple weeks. So they'll both get games played as long as each one, they're not going into overtime every single game. They can't gain too much ground on us, at least not where we're going to be able. We'll still be able to catch them even once they get up to their 42 games, where I think it'll be 44, 45 when we go into that break.
As long as we win more games than we lose.
Yeah,
that's always helpful.
All right, so I think that's about it. Let's just look again at the entire league. Oh, I was wrong. I thought the Rangers were still on top, but the Jets overtook them with that winning streak. And look at the Canucks up there, too, in first place in their division. Is this the year that a Canadian team could win the Cup? You're going to have probably the Leafs, Jets, Canucks. Anyone else going to sneak in from Canada? I think that's it.
Toronto. Oh, you said the Leafs. Sorry.
Yeah. Is this the year that Toronto might actually win their cup?
No.
I don't.
By the way, to that one Matthews fan that was at the watch party.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That was totally my fault too. So for anyone that didn't know, I introduced them to a couple people. I randomly met those two in Nashville when the Lightning played up there a month ago. And we're all drinking and I'm like, yeah, I got a podcast and we got a watch party January 6th. We're gonna storm Boston. I didn't say that. I might have.
Oh, great! I'll
so-
be there for the impeachment trials of you.
no contact. Didn't we didn't exchange numbers or anything like that. But no, they paid attention, showed up at the watch party. So if they're out there watching, one is a true Lightning fan, and then the one with the Toronto Maple Leafs jersey is from Toronto. She couldn't not wear the Toronto Maple Leafs jersey for one night in Tampa, but I'm glad they came anyway. I think that was nice of them to come out.
So Jayden, she ended up winning one of the prizes, and the rest of the crowd decided to chant 67, 67 loud. But she took it like a champ. She kept going like she was giving it the Hulk Hogan and was like, bring it on and stuff like that. So I felt so bad because as much as we tell people when they're like, well, how many Stanley Cups have you, we like, yeah, but don't look in the past. What about now? So if you look at the most recent against Toronto and Tampa, she's whooped our ass. So she knocked us out of the playoffs and has already won this year. So
nothing to show for. Which, by the way, I don't know how if they have a different salary cap up there, but they did extend Willie Nylander to a pretty big contract.
Yes, they did.
Fuzzy math.
I'm just thinking, like, how are they managing signing all these players? Because they just re-signed Austin Matthews, which I guess that probably doesn't go into effect as an extension until next season. But seriously, I mean,
salary cap is a myth. Just FYI.
If apparently in Canada it is, or at least in Toronto, but if they are counting on trying to make a run at Stamkos in the offseason, there's no chance. They're not going to have the money.
There's the only thing you can think of. Well, I think the Tavares experiment is done with them. So that 91 will be out of Toronto, I think, next year.
He's got to be, or else they'd have like most of the cap money buried in 4 players.
Yeah. And there ain't no way they're getting a new 91 from the same blue and white. But yeah.
All right. Well, this is really your last chance if you're out there and you do want to go to the game tomorrow night or have a chance to win some great tickets. Add #GoBolts to the comment section right now. And by the way, if you're on Instagram, you got to go over to the old Facebook or the old YouTube or wherever else we're broadcasting, because those Instagram comments don't come through. I can see Mike Sneed did a comment earlier. I can't see CJ's on there. I can't see you over on our broadcast. So if you guys want to get in on this, you got a couple minutes to get over to anywhere else where you can add that comment, which is
real quick. As of today, Corey Perry is now eligible, or as of yesterday, Corey Perry is eligible to sign with any NHL team. So we will see if that ends up happening. Justin Russell, I'd redo yours with only one hashtag because it's not going to pick you up. So it's going to be interesting to see if anybody gets him after. We don't know what happened. Of course, they would have to divulge that to any NHL team that wants to sign Perry. So
is Corey Perry going to come to the Lightning?
Fuck no.
Thank you. Just want to put that out there for anyone that's hoping that could happen. Yeah, as you know, I'm right. It has here for $2. I think they have to pay him a little bit more than that. There's a league minimum. There's no chance. And I guess one of the topics that we'll start talking about on this show is, can the Bolts make a move at the trade deadline?
Or will they?
Will they? Can they? If they do, they're going to have to give away one of these players that are on a pretty big contract. So it's not likely to happen, but never say never with JBB. He seems to always have something up his sleeve. But if that does happen, it's going to be one of these players that does have a pretty decent contract for us. So we will speculate over the next month and a half until that trade deadline. But I'm sure that's kind of the next phase of this show as we move into the old trade deadline. And as you know, I'm right. is on there. He says we are it will be Stamkos. I don't know, man. I don't think Stamkos will get traded.
Me
We're
either.
gonna still be close enough to getting in the playoffs, unless we go on like a 8-game losing streak. That's the only chance that happens. And even if that happens, JBB doesn't want all that hate mail.
Mandingo. That's gonna be the comment of the night right there.
You should win your own tickets for that comment.
So real
Yes,
quick,
I'm
also-
sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I just
This
want
is our
to
show,
say you
Puck,
guys
what you heard.
have some amazing fans. Just the listeners, the interaction in the chat is amazing. I love it. I love the energy, and you have some great ones here.
yeah,
Well, it's the Buck show, but you can only talk about how great Baker Mayfield is for so long, you know.
Oh yeah, I can also throw shade at other teams around the NFL. So yeah, I do subtly
Listen,
get those shots in.
that defense that the Eagles play, that is got Baker Mayfield's name all over it for those little dump passes, especially with his little hurt ribs. They can feast on that for the whole game on Monday, and I'm hoping let's get baked.
Yeah. I just hate Philadelphia. I hate anything.
Yeah.
Just I've had really bad experiences going to games in Philly, so I'm just not a fan of that place at all. So the more they lose, the happier I am. But I don't dislike them more than like other teams. But just Philadelphia, I've just had some really bad experiences.
You know, I'm right. Says he subbed you, and then he said Baker is as banged up as Vassie right now.
He is. Baker Mayfield is hurt right now.
Yeah.
That's going to be the main
So
problem.
just a reminder also that they do have tickets for sale for the Hall of Fame ceremony. So get them while you can right now. It's going to be that whole weekend. So
ceremony's
Steve,
March 9th, Friday, March 9th.
yeah. So Steve,
February,
if you have an extra seat, no, it's in March.
That was February.
If you have an extra seat for that Philly game, let me know, Steve, because I gave mine away. Not realistically, that was Hall of Fame game.
Steve is right. Steve is right about that. You gotta highlight that one about Philly.
Philly's a shithole.
It really is. It really is. And like I said, they do eat their young there. So what's to be
March 9th against Philly.
No, that's the ceremony. This is the 9th.
No.
You think you would know a little bit more about the Lightning for this podcast?
That's
the beauty of this show. I love this show just even more. Just actually being here and seeing the magic work.
We're just fans. That's the thing. We don't work for anyone to report this stuff.
That's what makes it more fun, because you guys could go rogue whenever you want to.
We do every Wednesday night.
I mean, you see how I came went rogue and showed up here for just no reason. Really.
Well, it's funny because I saw when you came into the green room, and I was waiting to see how long it was going to take Rob to notice you. And he was in the middle of something, and I just heard him start cracking up. And I was like, oh, he sees them now.
You might have saved the day, to be honest.
Nah, not me. I'm just
because I was about ready to do about a 20-minute show.
Hey, I'm just a fan. I'm just a fan like everybody else, and that's what I appreciate. I'm not an insider, but I love doing it. There we go. Go rogue.
And you know
that
what's
should
great?
That should be the next hashtag when you're giving away tickets right there. Go rogue.
Go rogue. Last chance. Comment. You don't even have to make a comment. Just put Go Polts in the comments. Which, by the way, if it is your first time joining the podcast, we're sorry and welcome. And that's the beauty of this podcast is we actually say hello to everybody that listens. So hello, Crystal, welcome. And if you did not already, write down or type in your phone or computer #GoBolts if you want to go to the game tomorrow night, because somebody's going to win some really awesome tickets for tomorrow night's game. 7:00 puck drop.
Hashtag Crystal. Do a hashtag. That's how we'll pick you up.
Yeah, you got to get that hashtag in there. So we'll wait for you to do that. And then we're going to draw this thing, because I can't sit here. Well, I could sit here and talk about the Lightning all night, but I got a life to live. Okay, folks.
Welcome, Matt.
First time joining. Matt got in, right? Yeah, Matt's in. Go Rogue, Go Bolts. Let's do it. Let's run this thing. We got about you got some good chances here to win some amazing seats. So let's get this.
Oh,
thing.
it's Go Bolts, Crystal.
No, she got it in there.
Oh, okay.
No,
okay.
it's fine, Crystal. I just wanted to make sure you got in there, got a chance to get in there.
Boom, boom. And by the way, if Shooter in the Stash or We the Thunder pops up, we're gonna do it again because I accidentally commented myself.
Did we
Because
get in
I
there?
want the tickets too. But I'll be there. I already got tickets.
Hey,
The
Shooter,
suspense
did
is killing me.
Steven get in before? Did he get in?
Steven, yeah, we got you.
Okay, good.
We got Steve. I know that guy. He plays hockey with me too. I mean, half the people that watch this show, I just play hockey with them. So welcome to the show. All right, let's do it. Drawing is on. This is a random generated drawing. There's no control here. Who do we have? I knew that was going to
Just
happen.
knew that was going to happen.
We're going tomorrow
Don't worry.
night.
Yeah, it's me and Thomas Schooley and Buck. What you heard? Sorry, folks. Show's over. Let's do it again, and we won again. Man, I'm going to get my lottery ticket as soon as this show ends. I never won
You got to.
Except I did win at the Thunderbolts party a Nick Paul signed stick, which might be available at the next watch party. Angie, that's our big winner. Angie, shoot us a message.
Congratulations.
We really just need your email address. So if you can shoot us a message, it looks like you're on Facebook. Congratulations. Please make sure that you can go to the game. If you can't go to the game, what we'll do is we'll raffle them off on our social media. But hopefully you can make it and shoot us a message. You guys got anything else you want to talk about? Get off your
Tacos.
chest.
I want tacos.
No, I had tacos right before the show.
You know what? You can't go wrong. It's
I'm
not
sitting
even
here with
Tuesday.
macaroni and cheese waiting for the show to end.
I know better. I eat before the show because we aim for an hour. We're at a good buck.
There's her
20.
email. So Angie, I have the tickets in my account. He sent it to me. I'm taking a picture of your email now, and I will send them over to you as soon as we're off doing this.
And if you see us at the game, let us know. And look, Steve's coming back first week of February, just in time for you and me to go to the game on February 14th, Steve, Valentine's Day.
So Steve will not be there for the game on the 27th?
No.
Bummer.
Are you trying to parlay yourself some tickets for when you're in town?
No, I wanted to meet him.
No, he's very elusive. I haven't even seen Steve all season, to be honest with you. I've sat in his seats,
It's
but I
by
haven't
design.
seen Steve all
Probably
season.
by
He's
design,
been
I'm
out.
thinking.
Well, he said that me and Gene are just like me and Steve. We're never at the game at the same time. Like he's like I'm at the game tonight. I'm like, oh, I'm not. And then, I'll be going to the game and I'll get a message saying I just sent you my tickets. And I'm like,
Well,
the Coyotes play on the 25th of January.
are they in town?
Thursday.
The Yotes?
The Yotes, Yodelit Oats, on January 25th.
Sweet.
Anyway, we'll talk later.
I think I talked about everything that I wanted to cover. We had the huge game. We talked about the very beginning, the huge comeback win versus the Kings. We talked a lot about the watch party. You guys got a couple stories from the watch party. If you didn't make the watch party, it actually exceeded my expectations by a lot. It was a lot of fun. We sung happy birthday to our friend Gail, who won something, and then she had to come up, and I was like, oh, by the way, everyone, it's Gail's birthday. And then, Sticks of Fire is there. They're loud as hell. They knew. It was funny. Andrew and I make eye contact because Andrew's loud as hell. And Andrew starts the countdown. 3, 2, 1. Happy birthday as loud as you can at the top of your lungs at the back of Cigar City. So reminder, we'll put the links out there and we'll be talking about it a lot, but it will be up there in a month on February 10th to watch another one. This one we're going to win because we play the Columbus Blue Jackets. So,
and Steve, we're going to the New Jersey Devils game on Gasparilla Saturday, correct?
Gasparilla. Yeah,
Gene is actually, if I can get off the float.
Gene is actually a pirate that will be on a float and coming into town for that.
Shout out to the crew of Santa Margarita.
That sounds like a delicious drink.
I was just about to say,
I'll take a Santa Margarita.
Yep, I've got a
Goes
super
well with
flask. That will be
tacos.
I will be drinking margaritas too on Gasparilla Day. That's my signature drink this year.
It
Nice.
goes great
I
with
think I might be with
tacos.
you.
Exactly.
All right, what else do we want to talk about tonight? Who's the biggest celebrity Bolts fan? I don't think we narrowed it down to one.
Tom Cruise. Let's just say Scientology.
Scientology for the win. Does Scientology have their own box? They might.
They've got to. They
Yes.
should have a bunch of boxes.
Cooper, congratulations. The biggest milestone of the past week since we've been on. Coach Cooper gets his 500th win. How cool was that last night? And Perbix, of all people, the one putting it in overtime.
Since our last game, didn't Cooch also hit 500 points?
It's tough to even keep up with all the milestones that happen week by week with this team. It's like it's always something. It feels like every game. So I'm sure we missed something else. But
300 career goal for Cooch on the 27th.
That's cool, but there's not many coaches that have won 500 games, especially with there's plenty of coaches that won 500 games with one team. That's the exclusive list that he's on.
He's 5th, and he's only 15 wins. I think it's 14 or 15 from going to 4th place.
Very nice.
Yeah, and by the way, for anyone that saw my comment about so he's not getting fired, I did I think both on Instagram and on Thunderbolts. Here's you. Here's the joke. Here's the joke. Right over your head. Because people on Instagram wanted to fight me. I was like, come on, dude. Anyway, what else? Cooper's 500 win, grading the Bolts halfway point. ESPN said B, and most of us were C+, C+, C-. And then we looked around the league, and we had a surprise guest. Buck, what you heard?
This is crazy what the NHL Public Relations just tweeted out. It's about the Wild. But they officially have the youngest and oldest goaltender in the NHL this season. Jesper Wallstedt is 21 and Fleury 39. Only 2 other clubs in NHL's expansion era since 67-68 had been able to stake that claim.
That'll be the big question next Wednesday night when we're live is, will we see Fleury? Maybe, I think this is, did he already say this is last season?
Yeah.
So this might be your last chance to see LaFleur, one of the greatest goalies of all time. And remember when we started the show, people used to come in here and say like that I looked like him?
Yes.
Whatever.
And then everybody got their glasses.
He's about my age.
No.
It's about my age. So maybe that's why. But yeah, that'll be interesting to see. I would like to go to that game too. So I would like to see him play in net one more time.
That would be amazing.
And hopefully lose. Leave Tampa a loser because he's probably won plenty of games here in the past. All right, let's wrap this puppy up. You guys got anything else here before we get out of here?
I will be live tomorrow at 7 p.m. and I'll be talking about the playoffs. I'll be talking about the previous weekend and where the Bucks are, and throw a little bit of shade at Jameis Winston, and just a lot of things. Just you never know. Maybe
Screw him.
Talking about tacos I just want to talk. Speaking of going rogue, I mean, I kind of did want to touch on that a little bit, and I thought it was kind of interesting that happened. But
yeah.
Well, you save it for your show, buddy.
I'm going to.
Thursday nights, you can see it on Shooter in the Stash. You can go find Buck What You Heard over on YouTube. Always a good show. It's just kind of like ours. A lot of people show up in the chat and talk about, instead of Lightning, talk about the Bucks. And great time to be a Bucks fan in the playoffs again. Third straight year as NFC South champs. So exciting times to be a Bucks fan. I just wish they weren't playing that game on Monday night.
Yeah,
I would have taken any other time. That was like the only time I'm gonna miss some of the game.
Yeah.
But anyway, check him out if you haven't already. And in the off season, we've been throwing around the idea of just getting on here and just BSing a little bit too. So stay tuned for after football season.
Always fun.
All right. Well, let's wrap this thing up. We will be back next Wednesday night. There's no game, so we'll be on. I think we might have a special guest. I'm just waiting for him to confirm. And I do want to grab Debbie and Joyce. And hopefully they'll jump on to tell us, because they are going on that maiden voyage. Hopefully it's a little bit more successful than the Titanic, Bolt's cruise. But they will be back to show us or to tell us about how everything went on the cruise, hopefully.
And Angie, those tickets are sent. So check your email. I just sent them. So check your email. They should be in your inbox.
Congratulations. All right. Thank you, Steve. That was very generous as always. Thank you for doing that. You did not have to do that. But until next time, this has been We the Thunder. Don't forget to be the Thunder.
That's it.